everyone, welcome to episode 4 of
My Girlfriend the Artist.
Today Sarah and I are talking about seeking awe and wonder and seeking miracles, and what does that mean? Oh, it sounds so amazing. And just think, like when you're growing up and you're little, or think of little children, they are learning the world through their experiences, and they get excited about the smallest thing because it's all new to them. Everything's fresh. They're looking at things through these beginner's eyes, so everything is astounding and fascinating. Just think like a ladybug. How interesting is a ladybug to little kids? They're fascinated by it. It's as if they're seeing it for the very first time, and the spots, and it's flying away, and it's on the leaf, and like bubbles. Little kids, they love bubbles. They're so exciting, and they're popping them and trying to chase them. And Sarah, so how does that happen, that when children are little, they see this wonderment and this awe and this amazement, and as we mature, we sort of lose that, and I find that's really sad.
We do. We lose that ability to look at things anew because we've been conditioned and we have all of these assumptions that color our perceptions of everything in life. And the kids don't have that. They don't have all of this conditioning and all of these assumptions that are based on their past experience, because their experiences, it's very small. They only have what they have, however old they are. So as we grow up and as we become adults, we accumulate all of these assumptions about how the world is. And our perceptions are formed using those assumptions. Isaac Asimov said, "Your assumptions are your windows on the world. Scrub them off once in a while, or light won't come in." And I think that's kind of summarizes what we're trying to say here, right, Chris?
I love that quote, actually. I hadn't heard that one before. It's so true, Sarah. I think, when we stop and we take time to actually appreciate the ordinary things in life, and we do that on a regular basis, and you make that in your practice, you start looking at things in a different way, and you start seeing things in a different light, and you start feeling this inner peace and this fulfillment, and suddenly you're starting to react to things in life in a different way. And I've learned this year how to really just be, and to notice, and just let it come in and notice the little things. It could be something mundane as washing dishes even, and just noticing the feel of the dishes in your hand, and the soap rubbing on the dishes, and how clean and shiny they are when they're finished, and just looking at that. I mean, it's so mundane and ridiculous sounding, but instead of coming at things with an attitude of drudgery or judgment, as you say, it's flipping it around and looking through it in a different lens and saying, oh, like my kitchen is so clean now, these dishes, it's beautiful, I feel good. Okay, maybe that's, just a very simple example, but it could be anything. It could be anything walking down the street. Like when they say stop and smell the roses, literally stop, smell the roses. That's a cliche, but you know what I mean. It's to take this time to look at things differently, in a more miraculous way, and think about them, and wonder, have a sense of wonder, like, wow, how did that flower grow like that? And look at things through beginner's eyes. And that takes practice as far as I'm concerned, because everything I've learned with all my many, many classes and practices this year, it is a way of being.
I totally agree with that. We walk around with this kind of cloud or the dirty window, and we're not scrubbing it off. We're just kind of on autopilot, and we're not living so intentionally as maybe we'd like. And we know that when we are intentional, then we have a sense of ownership and agency, and we're more fulfilled in life. But there's also the other side of it, where the assumptions are the comfort zone. They're the familiar. They're what we've already experienced before. So letting go of them is a little tough for us. we can maybe have some fear associated with it. And because it's outside the comfort zone, trying to see differently, you have to widen the scope of possibility of what that could be and let go of some of your assumptions. So then you're kind of venturing out into the unknown. But the thing about the unknown is that this is where you're going to start expanding and growing and becoming more. You can't stick to your assumptions and stay in the comfort zone and actually learn and grow and change.
Oh, that is so succinctly said, Sarah. That's beautiful. And you're right. And so when you're growing, you're changing. And then it's like we talked in the last episode about this attitude of gratitude. This is what I'm finding in my life, in my own personal experiences, is that when I open up my scope of how I think about things and how I look at things, and I'm looking at things through a different lens. I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. You have a shift inside of you, and suddenly you see things with gratitude, and then you grow some more and you grow some more. And then you know what happens, at least again in my experience, is this love starts growing. This love of just being. Love for yourself, love for the world, love for people, love for things. It's just it's not a tangible thing. It's just an overall feeling, this love. And then pretty soon you start having miracles happen.
Right. And I feel like we're talking about a miraculous experience or a miraculous event. What is a miracle? Well, it's kind of like something completely unexpected that comes out of nowhere, that is beyond all of our assumptions about everything, right? And so we are awestruck and we are delighted. And one of the things that I've been reading about is the work of Bo Lotto. He is a neuroscientist, and he has his team doing different research projects around perception. And they did a study where they actually measured the brain activity in the audience members who were watching a Cirque du Soleil performance of O. And they measured the brain activity in these people. And what they found was that all of the activity in the brain during this performance was biased toward the right side of the brain. And what's the right side of the brain? That's the side of the brain that opens us up to curiosity, where we are willing and open to learn new things, where we don't have all of this kind of baggage or judgment or assumption going on. It's the side of the brain that allows us to learn and grow. And they also found that the effects of being engaged more fully on the right side of the brain are totally beneficial to us. One of the things that they found was that we feel small, but we feel connected to a bigger whole. And we feel connected to other people. So we have an affinity to other people, so we're more likely to, engage with other people, cooperate. We're also more comfortable with uncertainty and the unknown. We're more willing to accept that we don't know everything. We have less need for cognitive control and have an explanation for everything, right? And then the ego diminishes. So all of these things that we're experiencing when we are in awe, we are experiencing this type of brain activity, and it's having that kind of mindfulness effect on us. It's a similar effect as to when you're meditating or when you are in flow or in the moment, really present in the moment. So when you talk about miracles and you talk about awe, it's kind of the same thing, where you're having this kind of a spiritual experience of joy.
I love that you brought the science into that too, because I'm always so heart driven, and of course there's all this research. So thank you for bringing that up. I love how you said that this ego diminishes, because that's exactly what happens when you have your mind open to the unexpected. Because you take all that judgment away and you're left with only what is there. And I also completely agree with, this opening of this creativity in the right brain, and how when you're together with community and connection and contact, that completely expands. I've seen that time and time again. It's just absolutely profound as far as I'm concerned. And when you have all these little things in place, you do have miracles, unexpected miracles that come to you. For example, let's say you're thinking about your friend and you haven't talked to them for a long time. Guess what happens? Yeah, they phone you. Or you're just thinking, how am I going to pay for this whatever thing? And then an unexpected check comes in the mail. Little things like that. And what you can even expand that on further is to have a miracle journal. And so any little miracle, and you have to watch for them. It's like looking at things with awe and wonder. You have to do it consciously. And so when you're focusing on all these things and you're focusing on finding your miracles, you write them down. It could be the littlest thing. It just could be the smallest little thing. Like, I don't know. I got a letter in the mail from someone I was thinking about or something. I don't know. But then what happens, what you put your attention on grows stronger. And so like we've said, you start this little practice, right? And everything's happening in your brain and your heart, and everything's going, and you're changing and you're growing. And pretty soon, you've got this energy in the world, and then the energy comes back into you, and it's a flow of energy, and it's always fluid and changing, and it's just quite marvelous. So I love your perspective on, the brain, the right brain, and the science behind it all, because it's absolutely true. And all the research that I've done too, I did a lot of research on creativity and found the same thing. When you're in a flow, there's some really amazing things happen, and you get into this mind state. And I like I say, I've seen it with my own research, and some magical things happen. It's quite incredible. It actually makes me think of, what we do, Sarah.
Yes. The way that you're talking about paying attention and having intention, and really, just being open to how something really simple can be wondrous or awesome or a miracle. We're talking about a perspective, a mindset, and a willingness to see different possibility, and to see and appreciate something that's special about something really simple. But we're talking about having the same kind of brain state of being in flow, of being in the zone. I'm working in my art journal. If I'm really in flow and I'm using my intuition, and I'm not following a plan or having any expectations, I'm just trusting what can happen, and I'm letting myself be open to what can happen, and anything can happen, and I'm letting that be a possibility, that something outside of my own understanding of what could happen could actually happen. If I get out of my own way like this, then what can happen is that I'll do something. I'll make a mark, or I'll use a certain color of paint, or I'll put two things together, and then I'm thinking, whoa, that just happened. I didn't really do it. It just happened, and it's really cool. It's really amazing, and I can get really excited. And I'm experiencing that flow and a very intense experience of awe. And this experience in my art journal, it's something I can recognize in my day-to-day life going forward. It carries through from my art journaling into my day-to-day experience, because I can see that and I can recognize that when I'm paying attention to a similar set of circumstances, like a miracle, and just really appreciating it for the awe.
Oh, yeah. That actually just makes me so excited to hear that, because I think that's why we do art, isn't it? Because it is awe-inspiring, and when you have a practice and you're playing around and you're exploring, you make these discoveries and you get so excited, and your whole mood lifts and your whole being just shines, and it's just such a beautiful thing that happens. And I mean, I put inks together and I'm like in awe, like I'm 5 years old again, like, yes, I love that analogy of everything we've just spoken about, how that can go into our art practice. What a beautiful thing. Yeah, it just actually makes me want to get into my art journal now.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, that's the place where I can let go of my adult assumptions, and kind of play like a child and surrender my ego and see what will happen. Yeah, we're creating our own awe and wonder when we're in our art journals.
Yeah, indeed. I was actually just looking at something I made last night that I made, a few weeks ago, and I said to myself, how did I do that? How did I make that color? It's absolutely beautiful. I don't have no idea. I'll have to go look back at my videos and see how that came about. But talk about, this beautiful thing that emerged. And like you say, it's different every time, and that's what makes it so addicting maybe to us. We crave that. We crave the creativity and the outcome, and you're in the flow is what I wanted to say, of doing that thing. And that's pretty much enough, and that's pretty awe-inspiring as far as I'm concerned. Sarah, as always, thank you so much for this awe-inspiring conversation.
Well, thank you, Chris. This is awesome. I mean, all these art conversations are amazing, and I honestly feel like they just kind of keep getting better and better, and I look forward to everyone. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are very honored that you took the time to come and spend some time with us. Take care, everyone.